Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious. Back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know how we roll. It's going to be a fun one. My sippy cup there. Try to make it a little more streamlined. That's what you see when you look at your metrics and you realize nobody watches your long-winded stuff. So we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to jump right into the one tweet that really just sums it all up, man. If your response to seeing a black man shot over and over again in the back is he should have followed instructions, you are the problem. I'm okay. Not complying with an officer is not punishable by death under any circumstances. So if you're pointing a gun at a cop and he says drop the gun and you don't drop the gun, in this chick's world, the cop can't shoot him. That's just, I mean, am I really supposed to believe that that's what you believe? That's really what you believe. You believe that the cops should not have their instructions followed. Now, that's interesting. I hope when you get pulled over, you don't make any moves that are suspicious. I hope you keep your hands up on the steering wheel. Because I know, for myself, I was hanging out with a bunch of white guys in a park. The police rolled in on us. One of my friends had a warrant, knew he was going to go to jail, so he decided to stuff cigarettes down his pants, and we ended up with about 6 guns pointed at us. And at that point, anything else that had happened, I don't know, we could have been shot. We weren't, and you could say, oh, that's white privilege, but, he quickly put his hands up and moved away from it because his pants, so they didn't really have any reason, and we complied, and he went to jail, and the rest of us were just kicked out of the park. It's that simple. But we'll get more into that later. But this one's just bugging me because this is what young people believe. I'm assuming that she's young because you're either young, overeducated, or a professor to believe this kind of crap. If you want to live in a world where there are no police, you could go to Somalia. I don't think they have much of a police force there. It's pretty much lawless. I mean, your life expectancy will probably be measured in, maybe days, maybe hours, but they don't got no cops, so, maybe that would be better for you, I mean, seriously. People running around believing this, that not complying is not punishable by death. Okay. All right, well, what are you going to do if somebody breaks into your house? Are you going to wait until they've raped your family and you're duct taped in the basement, and then you're going to make the decision that maybe you should have defended your family? Because I personally, I don't think I'm going to regret defending my family. I might regret not defending them. That's just me. That's silly old me, man. I don't know. Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to wait until the bullet enters your skull before you return fire? I mean, what? If you want everybody to act as cowardly as you, that's fine, but it isn't going to end up in a pretty place. It's not. When criminals have all the power, what's in it for the rest of us? What do you think's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's going to be Somalia. It's going to be lawless. Just some thoughts, but thought I'd start off with that one. Of course, this week we had the RNC. I don't watch them. I'm Purple State for a reason. I don't have a lot of faith in the Republicans. I have zero faith in the Democrats. I'm more Republican, but I still didn't watch. But there you go. LeBron James did not protest the killing of David Dorn. There's no people walking around the streets with martyrdom shirts for David Dorn. There are for Floyd, and I'm sure this Blake jackass and all these other people who, the police shot. Yes, the police shot him. And if that's all you read about it, great. But people contributed to their own deaths. They participated actively and getting shot by trying to tase cops, by running from cops, by reaching inside vehicles. Wrong place, wrong time. Plenty of reasons. But when the media just simply labels it as bad, people go off half-cocked. That was what we've seen. That's what they're doing. We have people such as LeBron James. That's a prime example. A guy who has a voice, he has a following, and he just goes off half-cocked. But this woman lost her husband, and all he was doing was trying to defend his property, his friend's property, citizens' property. He wasn't breaking the law. There wasn't a warrant out for his arrest. But nobody's celebrating his life. Nobody's talking about him. BLM isn't protesting the death of an honorable man. No. They protest the deaths of scumbags who participated in their own deaths. Pure and simple. I know what it looks like when people are killed by the cops for absolutely no reason. I haven't seen that lately. I haven't seen that in a while, really. People will still throw around the name of the guy in Ferguson when all the witnesses and the ballistic evidence and the forensic evidence all proved that it was a good shoot. But the media doesn't want that. They don't. And I'll tell you this, just so you know, if any of you watch and believe that they care, the media, for the most part, the people who control it, they live in nicely protected areas. And they love the cops. And they won't hesitate to call the cops. You ever think about that? They just want clicks, man. They just want clicks, and nothing gets clicks faster than controversy. Speaking of controversy, why didn't this ever come up? Right here, the white liberals who are out there telling you that we need to be a more tolerant society, and Trump's a racist, and he's mean, and he's misogynistic, and blam, blam, blam. And, you've got people out there making fun of how people speak English and calling themselves tolerant and saying they're on the side of the immigrants. How is that on the side of immigrants? How is that on the side of decency at all? How? This is a wonderful woman, Melania. If she was a Democrat, she would be a hero, and she'd be on magazine covers and talk shows, and she'd be up on a pedestal. But because she's with the wrong party, you just are going to undermine her? Is that really how this game's going to be played? That you're just going to lie and lie and lie for clicks, man? I guess so. She can't speak English. She was called a hooker and a tramp. Where's the condemnation of that? Where's the canceling of that? You tell us on the left that this is what you stand for. And then when people do that, you just give them a pass because they're on your side. It's not right. It's not right that people I know that are just absolutely hate Trump, are diehard liberals, throw around the N-word like it's meaningless, using other derogatory terminology, derogatory towards not just blacks, but women, to other ethnic groups, other communities out there. They don't care, man. They just use you. People are accusing the Republicans of using blacks. That ain't the way it works. Sorry. Little response here from Chicks on the Right, or Chicks on Right. I should say I like that one because I'm disappointed by Bette Midler saying that, But again, it's just exposing who they really are. This is the odd twist of fate. Nick Sandman, having to be put on CNN and blasting CNN, and they're going to have it again with this kid in Kenosha, where they try to label it something, and the truth comes out, and they're going to be on the hook. They're going to be on the hook, and they're going to charge more for advertising, and then the companies that advertise are going to charge us more for product. It's a vicious cycle. But, they purport to be tolerant again. But, you put on the wrong colored hat. That's where the left is. But meanwhile, they're trying to convince you that the people on the right are intolerant and all of that. Look, I mean, you know what the truth of the matter is? There are intolerant people on the right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're not. But some of their intolerance comes from their own religious beliefs. And it's kind of hard to fault the person for that. They may be wrong, but it's hard to fault them. You know? There's people out there who still judge a man by the color of his skin. They're wrong. But again, they're not purporting to be tolerant. They're racist. They know they're racist, and they have no problem wearing it like a badge of honor. You know? Speaking of just the insanity of the week, apparently the NBA boycotted. You know, and again, as you can see right there, in the aftermath of the Jacob Blake shooting, they don't wait for evidence. They used to wait. People used to wait. These things would come up, and people would report on them, and they would dig into the stories. And when we had the final story from an actual trusted source, which we used to actually have back in the day, you know, then there was rioting. Things would come out, and there would be rioting. And it was very hard. You know, I worked in South Central Los Angeles delivering TVs during the Rodney King riots. And, you know, it was really hard to argue with the kind of protests that happened there. I mean, you know, he played a part in what happened to him, obviously. But the things that were said and done by those police officers was just flat out wrong. And when they wanted to burn the city down, you couldn't fault them. But now they're burning it down from over people who don't deserve that kind of honor. You know, I'm sorry, but, you know, if you grab a taser and run from the cops, or you reach inside your vehicle, or you're already high on something as dangerous as fentanyl, you know, it's really hard. You know, if Rodney King had a 10% liability in his thing, these people got like 50, 60, 75%. Maybe even more, you know, but it's hard to sift through everything to see where the truth lies, because it's being covered nowadays, you know? And, you know, this is not a facetious statement. That's truth. That's what people of just a generation ago, you know, were taught. You know, I heard it from my own friends of ethnic groups that they were taught these very things, you know, to avoid bad encounters with the police. And if they were in a position where they were being stopped, they were just to comply. Because it used to just be, yeah, every now and then, you know, more often than we'd like to remember, you know, white officers would just kill or beat black suspects. They would. You know, before my lifetime, in my lifetime. But number 5 says it all, you know. Fight the charge in court, not on the street. Police officers react to what they've been told or what they've seen. It's up to the court to sort all the rest of that out. It's not for them to sort it out. It's just not. If they're told that somebody did something, they usually just arrest them, and then it you know, the district attorney gets involved, the detectives get involved, evidence is sifted through. And if you really were innocent, then you're let go and you can just turn around and sue the city. But if you want to fight them out on the streets, man, you know, imagine if somebody was fighting you, and it was a life and death struggle. What would you do? Would you, you know, there's video out there of a suspect reaching into his car, grabbing a gun, shooting 2 police officers. Countless times. White guys, black guys, people of all colors, you know, shooting police officers when given the opportunity. If I was a cop, I'm not going to give you an opportunity. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, people say blue lives don't matter because they weren't born police officers. They chose to do it. And I think, man, doesn't that make it even more important to respect them and to understand their vital role in society and to give them credit where credit's due? They chose to go out and try to save people, you know? Wouldn't be a show without a little word from Candace Owens. She's just going to kind of sum it up right there, you know? I mean, things are being labeled racist just because the officer's white and the suspect's black. Like, it doesn't matter what the suspect did. It doesn't matter any of the extenuating circumstances. None of that matters. It just has to be racist. No. You know? Because LeBron. I never liked LeBron, man. When he came into the league, I was already kind of done with basketball. I'm seriously done with him now, though. Found this one kind of interesting because, you know, it sort of sums up what's going on is that there's narratives being generated that just aren't true. You know, they label him as homophobic and racist, but they really don't give any evidence of that. You know, some point to the trans ban on the military, but, you know, again, I believe we've talked about that, you know. Probably not a lot of trans people going into the military because most of them are probably aware of the issues that they would face, you know. And also, maybe they just don't have the drive. But, I mean, you can't be doing hormone therapy during basic training. And, again, they're not going to let somebody join the military who's taking 100 milligrams of Prozac. I mean, they have to have standards. You can't give somebody a rifle or a tank or a helicopter or a plane or a boat. And when they have so-called, you know, I can't even think of the word right now. Pre-existing conditions. You know, you can't have a guy with no arms driving a tank. You know, although, you know, in the olden days, a lot of it was just foot pedals, but you still just couldn't. I mean, but they ratchet that up until it's, you know, him being anti-LGBT, even though, you know, they swooned over him. And I've never seen any evidence. I haven't seen any evidence of his racism or his homophobia. I don't see it. You could talk about his supporters, but look at your supporters on the left, the ones out burning. Are you going to take responsibility for them? Because it goes both ways. No matter whether you want it to or not, it goes both ways. You know? People coming forward defending him, but what? I mean, I can only imagine the kind of derogatory terms he gets called. You know, because Herschel's right. You know. So here's another one that I took a little exception to. You know, I'll let you read through that. They're talking about the UPS. You know, they'll deliver a letter anywhere for 55 cents. And they offer 500,000 workers of 40%. Oh, wow, look how great they are. And they get good wages and a dignified retirement. Yeah, because they sold out to a private union. Private businesses should act more like the UPS. If businesses were out there like UPS, they would be out of business. UPS loses money. They spend way more than they take in. And you can blather on about military and all of this crap, but the fact remains, this statement is just stupid. If private businesses act like the post office, they'd be out of business. Hey, you know, look it up. It's just math. You know? It's just absolutely math. Reading this one from this chick who's trying to get a little publicity, but I love how she says, he shot and killed 2 people who had assembled to affirm the value, dignity, and worth of black lives. Then why do they have Molotov cocktails and pistols? I don't understand. Why were they attacking a kid with a skateboard? Why were they trying to burn down buildings in the first place? Yeah, Kid Act was completely wrong. Shouldn't have driven across state lines. You shouldn't have been there in the first place. But just because you make a bad decision doesn't mean you don't have the right to self-defense. It doesn't work that way. It's like a girl going out and drinking too much at a bar. Does that mean anybody could do whatever they want to her because she made a bad decision? No. You know? Larry Elder showing up right here. Due to COVID, we're asking rioters to work from home and destroy their own property. Said they probably don't have enough property to destroy. Maybe enough for about 15 minutes and then they're done. They've destroyed their bed and their Xbox. Here's another good one right here. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's what we've seen. I think they as a group, they have been the poorest of reactions, you know. today came out that South Dakota is not even asking for the unemployment money because they're fine. Kermit the Frog doing cocaine. How could you not put that up there? Look at that. I don't even know what it's about. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't care if he's up there snorting coke. I couldn't care less. If you get kicked out of the military for it, well, that's kind of stupid. But if you just want to do it, do it. I mean, who am I to judge? Yeah, well, can't remember this guy's name. I'm going to have to put it up. I've been practicing all week. Oh, man. Hide the Pain Herald, I think it is. I like that one. Here's another good one, Why can't you protest peacefully? White people when they couldn't keep slaves. Fair enough, except for the fact that the other half of the picture is white people trying to end slavery. So, kind of sucks. This one's sort of self-explanatory right here. I mean, yeah, that might be taking it a little bit far, but I'm maybe mouse traps, not rat traps, but wow. I don't know. I got a feeling that's probably in Florida. That should be this segment title: Science from Florida. I hate my wife. I hate my life. Gen Z humor. That's really good. That's really good. Vegans. Oh my God. That's a whole nother subject. Love this one, man. Don't, please, if you're a Trump supporter, please don't take exception to that. This is just, that is funny. I'd call Trump a bleep, but he lacks depth and warmth. I mean, come on, man. That's some funny shit, man. You gotta laugh at that. Because, I mean, it's just dumb, but it's funny. That's clever. Communism, how to make money work. They cry. It kind of seems like it's that way nowadays. Am I in a dark world Trump made? No, it's California after years of extreme green energy. Yeah. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? And we want to build an electric rail. We want an electric railroad. We want electric rails everywhere. We want all these electric cars, but we don't even have enough electricity for the ACs. I mean, we want more things to run on electricity, but we want less ways to make electricity. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, I've heard of some dumb states, and people make jokes about other states being dumb, but I'd have to say California takes the cake with that. We want more electric vehicles, but we don't want to make more electricity. So how's that going to work? I don't really understand the way things lean here. It's a strange world. I mean, I'm all for the environment, but it's got to be balanced with our needs. And things like nuclear energy have to be on the table. Nuclear reactors, make a lot of electricity. We'll probably need it. Socialized distancing. These are my favorites coming up here. Beating, harassing, chasing, and heckling people you disagree with in the streets doesn't make you an anti-fascist. Makes you a fascist. That's what Hitler did. Somebody disagreed, beat him up. This one pretty much sums it up. If you've been watching this video, you see why maybe I relate to this. But I just want to do it raw, man. That's all I got to offer. I just got myself to offer. That's it, man. I don't have degrees or a position or celebrityism. But here's my favorite one of the week. Right there. I mean, who doesn't love a good Pearl Harbor meme? I mean, really. If CNN existed in 1941, Japanese flyover is mostly peaceful. And that about sums up the way the media has been. They lie, they coerce, they falsify, and at the end of it, I don't even know if they buy the shit they're slinging. I really don't. But, what I've seen lately leads me to believe that Republicans are Americans, and a lot of liberals, well, they just simply live here. Copious.